This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by the Countertop Store, Central Arkansas's premier countertop authority. For custom fabrication and installation of granite, tile, laminate, copper, and more, the Countertop Store, 888-510-4773.
Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show, 721. It's turning out to be a beautiful Wednesday morning. Joined in studio with Laurie Lee, Republican consultant and strategist. Laurie, great to have you here.
Well, thank you. I just wanted to let you know that I've been getting text at people that are going to be donating to my therapist fund so I can be a little more assertive.
Good. I'm sure your therapist will be glad to hear that. You can put a place online where they can donate on your Facebook and Twitter.
That's a good idea.
It is.
Yeah,
so far, I think it's working. I think you're slowly coming out of your shell. That's great. We're going to talk for the next couple segments about some new polling data. We're 90 days out from the election, and we're going to see a lot of ads, see a lot of mailers, a lot of phone calls, and a lot of polls. And as with each poll, you look at them as snapshots in time, especially if you're a candidate. If you are behind in the polls, those are just snapshots in time. If you are ahead in the polls, you say, this is it. This is the deciding poll, pulse of the people. I'm going to win. But that's just how generally they are snapshots in time. But this series of polls by PPP, a Democrat-leaning poll, is pretty much very comprehensive of all the different races in the state of Arkansas. And it's one of the most extensive altogether in one. So we'll talk about this. And it looks at all the races. We'll start with the Senate race between Congressman Tom Cotton, who will join us at 7:45, and Senator Mark Pryor. And it shows that Congressman Cotton is ahead in that race, 41-39. Statistical dead heat, but still, the fact is, Congressman Cotton is ahead 41-39. The question is, the candidates for U.S. Senate this fall are Democrat Mark Pryor, Republican Tom Cotton, Green Party candidate Mark Swaney, Libertarian Nathan LaFrance. If the election was today, who would you vote for? And 41 for Cotton, 39 for Pryor. Laura, your thoughts on Senator Pryor with the name ID and the legacy being under 40%?
I think it's horrific for him. I think it'll be hard to swim back up that hill. If you go deeper into the poll, there's some favorable, unfavorables on their name, ID, and just like you just articulated, Mark Pryor being a longtime incumbent, the Pryor name being a political iconic name in this state, and he falls unfavorable right at 51%, and his favorables are 38%. And in the poll, he's below 40. It's going to be a struggle for him to get back in the race. Even though they're only separated by 2, it's still where he is in the polling. That's a big deal.
It is interesting. And a lot of times looking at the favorables and unfavorables are key because voters have to like you. You have to be someone that they have a favorable opinion of. And on that question, looking at Senator Pryor, do you have a favorable or unfavorable? As you say, favorable 38, unfavorable 48. And the same question asked to voters concerning Congressman Cotton, his is even, favorable 40, unfavorable 40. So I think that's an important crosstab to look at in terms of how voters view these different candidates.
Absolutely. And I think as the president's approval ratings go down and more comes out about the decisions that Mark Pryor has made with regard to the issues that concern Arkansans, I think his numbers continue to plummet.
Right. And we're going to go down to another big race here in Arkansas, the race for governor. And keeping in mind, this public policy polling, it's a great national firm. They typically are a little left-leaning. Yet the headline for this poll is GOP leads in state races. Down ballot, GOP is doing well. And the question here, if candidates for governor this fall were Democrat Mike Ross, Republican Asa Hutchinson, Green Party candidate Joshua Drake, Libertarian Frank Gilbert, who would you vote for? And it is Asa Hutchinson, 43, Mike Ross, 38, and then it drops off after that. But Hutchinson leading Ross 43-38.
Again, Mr. Ross is way down. There's been polls that have Asa up more than 10 points. This one, like you said, a Democrat-leaning poll puts him up over 5, and I don't understand how they expect to come back. There's a huge wave. Again, the president's numbers continue to plummet. You've got 12% undecideds. Even if it broke 50-50, which it won't because it's an R year, there's no way that Mike Ross can catch up.
Yeah, and keep it in the interest of fairness, we will look at the faves in that race also. The favorable and unfavorable for Mike Ross, showing favorable 35, unfavorable 32. So that's not that bad. On Asa Hutchinson, favorable 40, unfavorable 38. So a little higher unfavs for Hutchinson. However, the overall numbers are in his favor, and they have been in poll after poll after poll.
Yep, and he just continues to grow. His message gets stronger. He's with the people of Arkansas on the issues, and he doesn't have the albatross of the D hanging around his neck and the negativity that the president brings to the table.
Yeah, and that's going to be hammered home for the next 90 days. The anvil that is Barack Obama weighing down Senator Pryor and Mike Ross. Next big race on the ticket is lieutenant governor. And the question here for public policy polling, and once again, a lot of numbers here, but we posted them up on our Facebook and Twitter. You can go to the Alice Stewart Show, and Laurie's put them up on Twitter also. It's a pretty long, extensive poll here. It's really good look at all the races, statewide races. For lieutenant governor, the question is, the candidates for LG, if they were Democrat, John Burkhalter, Republican Tim Griffin, Libertarian Christopher Olson, who would you vote for? Tim Griffin, 41, John Burkhalter, 32.
That's huge. That's huge, especially in a down ballot race, and you've got 21% that are undecided. Again, if it breaks half and half, you cannot give a third to the Libertarian candidate. That just wouldn't happen. I see that Congressman Griffin is just going to really walk away with this, unless something unforeseen happens. Barack Obama has been, as you said, an anvil for Democrats, and it's just not going to get any better. There's no issue that they're winning on right now. There's no issue that on the national level, and that's where most people's political meter is on the national level. There's no issue they're winning. Immigration is a mess. Tax reform is a mess. The economy's a mess. The life issue's a mess. The gun issue's a mess. I mean, the foreign policy is crazy, insane mess. And so there's no way in the next, what do we got, 90 days left for them to pull this out and help these candidates.
It's going to be tough. I will say that the key with that, just looked on Twitter, I saw John Burkhalter speaking at a breakfast in Arkansas, and he's working hard. I tell you what, though, nobody outworks Tim Griffin.
No.
And he's going to be, he's up before the sun comes up and works till the dead of night, and he works really hard, and he's going to get out there and shake every hand and kiss every baby, and that's going to be a big factor.
Absolutely.
A lot more races. We want to look at Secretary of State, the Attorney General, Auditor, Treasurer, these key races. We'll take a break and come back and go down the rest of these races by public policy polling. And Congressman Tom Cotton joins us coming up in just a few minutes. This segment of the program brought to you by the Countertop Store, 9817 Maumelle Boulevard. Give them a call, 888-510-4773.